show. Always Irish show. Always Irish show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks. It's like the week of Christmas. Blue and Gold Week's finally here. Finally here. It's about time. And I'm looking at the weather. It's getting colder instead of hotter. I don't know what's going on for Saturday, but I'll take 50s over the 30s like last year. I'll take it, all right? Oh, welcome in, welcome back. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy to be here. Have you here. Looking forward to the tailgate. It's about time, man. Spring ball's been weird. Spring ball's been weird. Yeah, I guess it's tax day. I mean, I already did up my stuff, but you better turn them in or the IRS is going to come door knocking. So you better take care of the taxes. Don't a bunch of places have like discount food or something because it's, is Leonard going to play in the blue and gold game? I have not heard that. I looked at few minutes of news this morning. I haven't heard that. I don't know. Somebody fill me in if I missed that. That'd be really interesting. After missing most of it and then coming back in right at the end, I don't even know if that's a good idea, to be honest. I don't know. Somebody let me know whether they're just saying that or if that's news. Yeah, I know he's not playing. I would be surprised. Leonard is starting, but he's in a wheelchair. I'm just picturing like one of those wheelchair like charity basketball games where they're wheeling around and they're bumping wheels and they're shooting and he goes down the court. I mean, I'm sorry. It's so not funny that it's funny. Like it's so not funny that it's funny. I'm just picturing like he's out on the field in one of those wheelchair races. I don't even know if it's a good idea, even if he's in one piece. All right. This spring's been weird. I want to get into, and we got a couple calls already. 312-988-15. I want to know if you paid attention to Saturday's practice game. A lot of the media that's been doing this for 20 years or whatever, they will tell you, they'll say that in a lot of ways that scrimmage informs you more about what the team's really going to look like than the goofy blue and gold, whatever they come up with format for blue and gold. So a lot of people in the media that have been doing it a long time put a lot more weight on that scrimmage in a lot of ways, but the blue and gold gets all the publicity because it's public. It's the one that we see, all that kind of action. And so I want to go over some of my takeaways from that and kind of look at some of the results and the reporting from that. But then, and where parts of this team are all at and where it's all trending into blue and gold and then into August. Because there's some really concrete things that jump out to me. So I want to go over some of those really obvious takeaways to me. Make sure we're all on the same page. And if we're not, let me know that you're not seeing it the way I am. But there's some really interesting nuance here. there's some things that are like good and bad with this, like at the same time. Again, nothing in Notre Dame land's ever black and white. There's some things that are really good and really bad about this at the same time. 5 days until the 420 blaze. Hey, man, if you, you could call me immature all you want. That 420 blue and gold thing it's not going to not be funny and entertaining to me. Is this a good time to announce on 420? We got some entertainment at the blue and gold game. It's Snoop Dogg out in the parking lot, sea walking right in front of Frank. I can see it now. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm already off the track. I'm Sun Chance Kid. What's going on? I'm already off the track. Let's do some introductions. As always, thank you for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Yanni Boy out as well. Hit the notifications. That way you will alert it every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter. Search bar Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it if you don't want to see my face. Nobody blames you for that one. The call-in lines. Make them popping on a blue and gold week. 312-988-15. Dial it up. Tell Johnny all you want to have heard and seen at the blue and gold game. Patreon.com/Always Irish, the former captain. Leading tackler Mike Goolsby and myself breaking it all down. USA Today Irish Wire, you can read all about it there. Sun Chance Kid, John, I'm at work. Well, I thank you for being in dereliction of your work duties to be here. I appreciate that. I really do. That means a lot to me that you would forsake some of your work responsibilities to watch this show. And of course, make sure you go visit ndsubwayalumni.com. Get yourself a looski. Get yourself a looski. Bring it to the blue and gold tailgate. The blue and gold tailgate. Take a couple shots. Knock the edge off. Warm yourself up in the morning. Whatever it's going to take, we're here for it. Also, you all know our friend Eric from the Ohio pod that I've accidentally become really good life friends with. Sometimes it's unavoidable, even though it's an Ohio State guy. You have a connection with somebody and they're on your wavelength. Great friend now. Him and I have gotten close. Go visit the College Huddle, you guys. That's Eric's brainchild. Wanted to put together a network of all these YouTube channels, just a little community there of people that want to talk about college football. They're growing their channels. There's some support there. I'm going to help some people get their channels going, kind of get them maybe some suggestions for quicker growth than I had, and interview some people talking about the Notre Dame stuff and teams that have a Texas A&M guy on, that kind of thing. So Google the College Huddle there. Eric's put a lot of time in that. Oh boy, what do we have here? Dr. John, good to see you. All right, a couple chats, and then Rodney, we got a couple calls here. We'll bring you up. Let's see. I like to get caught up with the chats, because if I don't do it right away, then I don't get to it, and then 900 other chats come in, and then the people in the morning feel like I don't read theirs, but also the phone people are waiting. There's no way to win in this, you guys. I'll try and breeze through them. Hopping in your extra early on a Monday. Hearing reports, Angeli and Minchie threw some pick sixes while Carr absolutely shined. I've heard that as well. As one media member put it, he throws the best ball. Doesn't take long to see who throws the best ball. Yeah. It's interesting, though. Is that what the staff wants right now? Are you following me when I ask that question? Is that what the staff wants right now? Like, think about this. It makes perfect sense to be like, this is awesome. This freshman is throwing the best ball and spreading it around and everything. And that's beautiful. And that's what we want. Can't a bunch of people message me? Why isn't he Carr that rise into number 2 behind, if Leonard's the number 1 or whatever, he's rising up with the balls he's throwing or whatever. I think that messes up Notre Dame's plan. Are you feeling me? Are you catching my drift? I think it's the best case scenario that Carr is doing great and throwing that crisp of a ball, and everybody likes what he's doing and he looks good in that live action. To the point where people are like, make him the number 2. I don't think the staff wants to do that. It messes up their plan. Even like you could argue it might be the best path to winning or whatever you want to argue. I think that messes up the staff's plan. Because what happens to Angeli and Minchie or whatever if you bump Carr all the way up to number 2? You might lose both of those guys in the portal, and they don't want to do that. Follow me. There's nuance here. You could have a scenario where he's legitimately the second guy, and they're not going to do that right now because they don't want to send that signal to the other 2 to go bye-bye. I'm not trying to be conspiratorial. I'm just saying it's really easy no matter what Carr does to be like, you're the red shirt guy. And that like balances that out for the other guys to compete and see what happens. If you bump him all the way up to 2, the signal that sends the other 2 guys, I just think they're being smart about their presentation with a lot of this stuff for certain reasons. They want to line stuff up. Maybe you're going to say, John, you're out of your mind. You're making it up. But one of the first things I thought of when I got a bunch of texts over the weekend saying, why can't Carr just be the number 2? One of my original thoughts was it messes up the plan big time. It messes up the plan big time. If you wanted Riley Leonard to be the number 1 and then you could have Carr redshirt, it's just, what does it do to the other 2 guys and their plans? Now, maybe you say, I don't care what it does to their plans. The best guys got to line up 1, 2, 3, and it doesn't matter where they fall on the class or whatever. Fine. I'm just telling you where my mind went about that plan. I don't know. Maybe he's so good at forces that the plan's out or whatever. I don't know, man. It's a little tricky. I like Carr the best. Get Carr to number 2 as fast as we can. Denbrock and Gaduli can do this. Again, do they want to do that in the current dynamic? It's a weird thing in your brain. You would want it to happen, but the plan they're trying to do, it feels like they want to drag out the time frame of somebody to make a decision in the quarterback room to leave Notre Dame as long as they can. And if you bump Carr up to 2, you're sending a message not to 1, but to 2 other guys. I'm just telling you, you may think that's ridiculous and it should not be a consideration, but I'm telling you, in the no sit-out transfer portal era, it's a consideration coaches have to make. I'm just telling you that. Just telling you that. Andrew Gilmore had some issues on another show, I heard. Oh, man. Andrew, never change, buddy. John, I was surprised by your Sunday video. Those greedy TV contracts have major benefits for us viewers. From 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., we can watch 5 different games at any given hour. That's great. Andrew, let me put it to you this way, Andrew. I'm glad you brought this up. And I got a couple other messages about this. People agreeing, people disagreeing. Let me bring this up. I would gladly forsake my personal entertainment to feel like college football still felt like college football. Like I've been plenty entertained the last 30 years of my life. This is the sport I love the most. Like I've been thoroughly entertained. So I will gladly forsake ruining geographical conferences and rivalries and all that and making this the minor league professional sports feel like college football in a changing world that is so wild and out of control and everything going on. It used to just be nice that for 4 hours you could put on sports or put on football and like kind of drift away from that. And so I would gladly give up some of my entertainment on the weekend for it to feel more like a natural college football product. Dude, I just get beat down every day on Twitter. There's another problem. There's another thing that it's going to be the pros and they're going to be employees with insurance and pensions pretty soon. Bro, come on, man. I just want college football to feel a little bit like college football. Do I ask for too much? Am I asking for something extra fancy? I just want college football to feel like college football. Look at this for the Sly Fox. Good morning, Irish Nation. The time has finally come. Always Irish tailgate this Saturday. Let's get it. John, going to bring you some bourbon, my friend. Ooh, that'll warm you up on a crispy spring morning in South Bend, Indiana. Here's a problem I'm having for this blue and gold game. I'm starting to get my stuff in order, what I need to bring and everything. Bro, I lost Lenny. My leprechaun you see behind me, that's a green screen. I can't find a mask. Maybe it's at my parents' house because we had multiple cars last time we did the tailgate. Maybe it got put in a box. I can't find that leprechaun mask. He's got to come to the blue and gold game. I can't find him. The one you're looking at, a green screen input of that mask. I don't know where it is. Somebody steal my leprechaun mask? What the hell's going on here? Unbelievable. Keep it rolling on the chats. Callers, hang in there. I'm coming to you. Interesting philosophical, existential, and intellectual discussion here. Those are my three favorite areas to discuss. All ND has is the past. ND hasn't won anything in 35 years, which is too sad. I wish things were different, but they aren't. Better the past than zero. Yeah, this is about us always dwelling on the past and everything. What else can you dwell on? It ain't the present. I get why people hang on to the past. You want to hang on to the last good thing you had. And there hasn't been anything in the present to hold on to. Well, there's things to hold on to, but it's nothing you like. Andrew, Eric, I think the ND admin doesn't care about the absolute best product on the field, and it distracts the fan base by playing up the nostalgia. Past, you play right into their hands. Man, dude, this is just, I don't know how we devolved into a larger scale discussion about the administration's buy-in to football excellence. My argument has always been, if Notre Dame wanted to, they could thread the needle. You got all those smart people over there. You could thread the needle, have a really tough football team full of good guys. There's ways to do it all. There's ways to do it all. Steven Arado, I apologize sincerely for picking Koepka. Ooh, buddy. Yeah, that's a rough one. As far as the Masters goes, really good tournament. I liked Saturday in the wind. That was a new look at Augusta, having the wind up that much. Although I got to admit, I love the Masters. Outside of Notre Dame, it's my favorite sporting thing to watch every year. I needed more drama on Sunday. Nobody really made a big run from behind, put up a number to get in the leader's head. Yeah, you didn't really have any drama. I don't know. I like my Masters Sunday back nine with a lot of drama. You really didn't have that. Credit to Scheffler. He's the best player in the world. He is. He's clearly the number one best well-rounded player in the world. So he got a second green jacket kid on the way. It's good to be Scotty Scheffler. I don't know what else to say. I needed more drama, and I didn't get it. Sunday at the Masters, drama on that back nine, didn't get it. So it is what it is. Good for him. Also, not all DeChambeau was in it. Those live guys, I think this is where they're going to have a problem. Coming back into major intense competition stuff here when they're used to playing in Saudi oil land with music playing in their shorts and it's all casual team stuff, not a lot of pressure. You get paid no matter what. I think they're finding it's hard to click that switch back into hardcore golf. That's what I think. So I don't know. What has Rutgers done to invest in football? They're in the Big Ten. That's what Rutgers has done to invest in football. And then they get all that money. I don't know. Anders says, I'm here for the car hype. It's great news. He's been the guy for what, 3 years? I'm not going to let Goolsby change my opinion based on his review of warmups. I just went over what I think the situation is there, what the scoreboard is, and it's just kind of awkward. What does Carr have to do to force a move? That's my question. What does Carr have to do to force a move? And then there's the other question of this. See if you've thought of this. Callers, hang in there. I'll go to you. Here's the other part of this. Do you want the backup to have no snaps? I'm not sure whether I love that or hate that. Doesn't it make sense that like Angeli was the backup? He's done good in that role. We've all seen it with our own eyes. That would be the plan, whatever. Do you love or hate the idea? If you want Carr to outplay all the way up to the 2 spot, having your backup have no snaps, is that ideal? I don't know. They want to save that red shirt, you guys. That's the other thing you need to consider. What is it, 4 games or more? You would have to play to burn that. They want to preserve that as well. How does that play into this? There's a lot of tricky stuff here, and it comes down to how that staff wants to break this all up and what they want August to look like. It's funny. I see some people in here. I don't like Goolsby and his takes. And then other people go to him and go, I don't like John and his takes. You ain't going to make everybody happy when you're doing this. There's always somebody that doesn't like what you're saying. It's so funny, though. People will go to him, oh, you got to get away from that John guy. And then people will come to me, oh, I don't like Goolsby's strong take stuff. Way off at you know, what are you doing? It's hilarious. You can't make everybody happy. That's why we're a great combination. Oh, boy. I do think CJ is that dude. It also bodes well to allow Deuce the development before he's tossed in the fire. Yeah, it's gonna be really be interesting. I just keep going back to how much does Notre Dame want to mess up their plan? And the plan was for Carr to redshirt, and those other guys battle it out for the backup. And I think they would be nervous to send the message to Angeli and Minchie. Neither one of you guys are the backup. The freshman's better than you. Well, then get ready to lose both of those guys. Like, there's a competitive track here, and then there's the plan long-term here. And they don't, both those tracks, I'm not seeing go in the same direction. I hope it makes sense what I'm trying to tell you. Mark, you better be careful taking shots at the IRS. They're probably monitoring this chat as we speak. All right, getting caught up on the chats. We'll do a couple super chats. And then I'm going to give my main big picture takeaway from that scrimmage. Then go to the callers. Then I'll come back and break down some of my stuff, some of the specific points in here. But I have one glaring big takeaway that applies to all of spring. I think you guys will agree. And it's going to make August really interesting. If anybody throws a pick 6 again Saturday, I'm booing. Mark, you would be there. There's like 17,000 people in the stands. Mark's at the top. Boo! I didn't pay no $10 for this. Oh, man. Social media overreaction. Carr will become our starter next season. Yeah, it's going to be, you want to talk about a quarterback situation where you're going to have one again next year. Are you going to have a first-time starter, or is it going to be Angeli or Minchie, or are you going to roll with the guy without experience like Carr if he's throwing the smoothest ball? And then you got Deuce, but he's rough around the edges and he needs some time. That's going to be interesting. Can I worry about one quarterback situation at a damn time, though? Two quarterbacky. Unbelievable. Gilmore, I just want to know what you said that got everybody upset somewhere else. I don't want like making this about other shows. Everybody tries hard in this niche, does their best work. I just think it's entertaining that Andrew Andrew got people riled up. I love it. Oh man. Yeah, I wouldn't expect any drop-ins from some other YouTubers at the tailgate. I'm persona non grata over there, which is just fine with me. Just fine with me. Mark says, John, I'm bringing my nephew to the tailgate. Don't scare him. Bro, I make no promises. I'm me and I'm having Miller Lite for breakfast. I can't make any big promises about anything other than we're going to have a good time. Angela Rudiger, happy blue and gold week. Yep, it'll be good to see you soon. Kent, what's going on? Kent. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the freaking idiot, man? Dude, who's the idiot? The idiot is whoever thinks they're so fancy at Ohio State that they have to put a "the" in front of it. And you're not going to trigger me to blow out my voice at 9:15 or whatever it is on a Monday. I'm not going to do it again. The image of this is a riot. Leonard is starting, but he's in a wheelchair. Electric or regular? It'd be really hard to wheel and throw. How are you going to do that? And he wheels around the edge. Ooh, and then he makes a turn, and then he has to put... Hopefully he's got a joystick with a supercharger, something. Man. Leonard could get easy access to the field through the tunnel ramp by wheelchair. It's only funny because it's so sad that you got to laugh. Is the blue and gold only on Peacock? I think so. I don't think we're like Michigan and Ohio State having it on Fox. I think it's on the old Peacock there. The scrimmage was actually not great news for the QB room. The true freshman looked the best. See that, Andrew, that's where I'm heading down the road here of where is that line to where he looks so much better than those guys that you are forced to make a move that messes up what you had in your mind as the plan. I'm just telling you, these are the things coaches have to think about now that they didn't 20 years ago. You get a guy recruited to you, well, guess what? You're going to wait your turn, sit on the bench, learn, and maybe in 2 years, you'll be the starter. And if you don't like it and you want to transfer, there's a big, heavy penalty for that. Those days are over. I know none of you guys, and I don't like the concept that you're catering to these kids and tiptoeing around what you really want your football plan to be to accommodate what their comfort and to keep them in the building. I'm telling you, you don't have to like that. It goes on in every locker room in the country now. You don't have to like it. It could offend your football sensibilities to think that in every situation, the absolute best guy isn't the next guy in the depth chart. I'm telling you, these coaches have to play these diplomatic games now. They have to. Every coach in America's got to make these calculations now because the dynamics, good players that think they're good don't want to come and sit around. So it's just tough, man. It's tough. Rodney, I'm coming to you. In 618, I'm coming to you as well. Sounds like the offense was missing. was missing Gerard Parker. Yeah. John is definitely on a gummy. I'm on coffee and my own personality, Kent, which is a lot more dangerous than anything you can make in a lab and put in a gummy. All right. What did you guys think of the jersey part of that? Domer since birth. Johnny Boy and the crew, how we feeling? This weekend's coverage reminds me of the greatest game ever played from the 92 Olympics Dream Team. Nobody saw it. Thoughts? Again, it's really, really interesting. Really, really interesting that we get the blue and gold game, and it's a big deal. The public gets to see it, but all these media types say a lot more work gets done in that scrimmage. And a lot of people put weight on that. There's some really interesting things in it. $5 dollar from the Homer. Tony, I'm looking forward to seeing you, man. It won't be long now. The Lewski christening week. Let's do it. I am excited for that. Carberry, Johnny Action. What's going on? CJ may end up the backup at some point this season, but only if one of Angeli Minchie transfer. Again, I'm telling you, these things are tricky. These things are tricky. Also, how do you measure all this spring stuff? Like they play all these. You see what you see. The media sees these little windows. Notre Dame's defense is really good. Like, how do you mitigate all those circumstances to try and find the absolute truth and nuts and bolts realities of the situation at hand? I struggle with that. I'm asking you guys. You see bits and pieces of spring, 15 minutes here, a window there. Also, when you're doing these scrimmages, who's got the guys to throw to? Who's got the number one O-line? Nuance, gray area, nuance, Notre Dame land, blue, gold, and gray. Outlined against a gray sky is all Notre Dame items you talk about. Gray area. So I don't know. But yeah, CJ looks good. Looks good. Blyberg. Good one. Oh, that's a good one. Pilney, thanks for the donation. This will go right to some tailgate gear. Pilney, $20 holler. This is why Freeman and his staff are getting the big bucks. We want ND to be elite still, right? Good problem to have. Would we prefer the opposite? It's opposite. Listen. Seriously, good problem to have. If we're in a situation now where you have multiple of these quarterbacks that you like, that you see genuine upside in, and you're debating which one to slot where, Pilney, I'm glad you brought this up. It's a really good place to start with all this. If you want to get frustrated or worry about how this is going to go and the slotting of all these guys or whatever, there's the number one thing to realize is it's a lot better problem to have than the one I have most years of my life watching Notre Dame in the spring, which is I trust zero of these quarterbacks. I think none of them are good enough to get us where we need to go. I don't believe any of them can put the team on their back and lead us to a last game-winning drive against somebody good. I think none of them could do it, even the guy who's going to be the starter. Do you know how many blue and gold games I've sat through with that in my mind? And I drove there with it in my mind. What I saw during the game confirmed it in my mind. And then when I drove back home on the toll road, it was in my mind. I don't like any of these guys. I've thought that a bunch. None of them, even if they play great, are near the level I needed them to be. Things are starting to change. That is nuance within a bigger situation. Pilney, I like the way you put that to make us think about that. I agree. You guys. 80,000 at the spring game. That's wild. You know what I took out the most out of Ohio State's spring game? Chip Kelly. Did you see what he said? They interviewed him. Oh, why'd you leave a head coaching job to come over here? He basically said, I'm sick of dealing with all the BS a head coach has to deal with, and I just want to coach some football and not deal with it all. What an honest answer. I actually kind of appreciated it. I thought he was being pretty direct. He literally just said, there's just too much crap you got to do. You're on the hook for if you're the head coach, and I don't want to do it. I just want to draw up some plays. Good for him. Good for him. Yeah, I thought he was very direct. I appreciated that, actually. I really did. John fooled us all. I thought it was real, too. He was talking about the damn green screen. But listen, here's the deal. I have all this stuff is on the wall, other than the leprechaun. When it was on the actual wall, I took a picture of it. Then I could put the picture in the streaming system to be able to project it on the green screen. But I got to keep the green screen up so when we do the Saturday night shows and I want that stadium one, I can put that picture on it. So all of that's real, but it is behind the screen. Is that moving? Can you see anything move? No, you can't. I'm punching a screen. That's the deal. The leprechaun's missing. Somebody stole my leprechaun. Tiger didn't like Saturday. Bro, that's a long walk. It's a long walk in good weather. It was just brutal. And he had to play all those holes, finishing round one or finishing the other round and then cranking it back. It's a long day on a busted up body, man. Long day on a busted up body. Yeah, Tiger would never quit at the Masters unless he had to. And again, people don't get this. He ended up finishing like last of the guys that made the cut or close to last. And I had a bunch of people saying to me or texting me, whatever, what doesn't he just give it, hang him up, give it up like he's past, he's past whatever. You need to understand, this is him hanging it up. Those type of guys play in the Masters. This is hanging it up. When you win the Masters, you get invited back every year until you're dead. And they might invite Tiger back after he's dead, and Jack too. Those would be the two that I'd like to have invited even then. You got to understand, this is the retirement track. You play at Augusta. He's played, 20 rounds of competitive golf this year before the Masters? That's not the warm-up you need to come truly compete at Augusta. $20 a holler. Thank you, Pilney. You could feel this changing like the early years under Lou. When Indy returns to power like they did in 64, 77, 88, the news stories will be that the Irish will wake up the echoes and the fight song played once again. Pilney, I really appreciate your positivity on a Monday morning leading into the blue and gold tailgate. I really do. I really do. Oh, that's interesting too. If they're eventually going to cut teams out like Rutgers and Maryland from getting full pay, why would you want to join the Big Ten if they would do that to a longtime member? It's not about being a longtime member. It's about being a longtime member who does nothing for the conference. That's the issue. It's less to me about being a longtime member. These are two groups that cost money and don't make money in the big picture and moving the needle. Nobody cares about Maryland. Nobody cares about Rutgers. And they should both be considered really lucky they're included in the Big Ten to make all this money. Those people are so greedy and want their power. Eventually, they're going to go, we're trimming the fat off this baby. And if you ain't moving the needle, you're out of here. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Car is cold. All right. I mean, Johnny Action, the best guy, in quotes, is Leonard. That's the plan. Here's how I look at this. That's been the plan from day one, is for Riley Leonard to be the guy. We have all these interruptions with the injury and everything else. Now they've got to retrofit what's happening to make it fit what they want. You following me? And dude, some people need to listen. Osbury seems like he's going to play a lot. Traore too. Traore's been getting major kudos. Everything I've read mentions him as like a secret weapon you got to find a role for off the edge. Like secret weapon ready to every single article. Doesn't matter which outlet's covering it. They all love it. They all love it. Okay. If you have 4 QBs, you have no QBs. Oh, that's funny. All right, I'm almost caught up here. I'm sorry. I know I made the people wait. Another $20 hour. In today's environment, Divine's incompetence would have forced Joe Montana to hit the portal and play for NC State. Who would have let him play baseball, his first love? Bro, where that dude started at on the depth chart, and then I believe, keep in mind, I was not alive, so I don't remember this firsthand. Pretty sure Sacco and I were talking about this. Jack Sacco, the Notre Dame historian, pretty sure in one game, 2 snaps in a row, Notre Dame lost quarterbacks to injury out of the game, and it made Montana come in. You want to talk about like bad things happening that end up having a good result? I think he told me it was back-to-back plays. Our quarterback got literally knocked out and out of the game in back-to-back plays. And then it went all the way down the line. Oh, I guess Joe on the end of the bench. Get in there, kid. Let's see what you can do. $2 out from the Chief. Just win on Saturday. Hopefully Freeman doesn't choke. I am supremely confident Notre Dame's not going to lose Saturday. Supremely. Any word on Indy kids going to the portal this week after the spring game? I feel like it should open after all the spring games are over. I don't have any inside tips, but I expect it. Keep in mind, Buckner had that you all packed, and I don't even think he took a shower after the blue and gold game, and and he was gone. He gone. Hawk Harrelson, he gone. Back from my childhood before the White Sox were the worst team in baseball. 2-13. Worst start in 124 years of White Sox baseball. 2-13. They're awful. My summer's ruined. Summer is ruined. Already, 2-13. They can't score. They can't do anything that I need, bro. You don't hit, you don't pitch, and you don't catch the ball. Tough way to win a baseball game. All right. Callers, I'm coming to you for the 8th time. Johnny Action, that's tough. Tyson Ford, they're questioning the heart and the love for the game. He's sitting out to address what he might want to do or whatever. Okay, portal. Like, let's just go, okay, portal. If we're at that situation at this juncture, probably the portal. Whatever, man. The White Sox should be moved down to AAA. Here's the funny part about that. A lot of times when your major league team is like the worst in the league, you're like, well, look at all these kids we have in the minors or whatever. White Sox AAA team, worst in the league. Lost a game 26-11 last week. So AAA, the White Sox also have the worst team in baseball. I'm embarrassed. I'm not going. I'm not wearing my gear. I'm done with you till you get serious. Tom Chris, $20 holler. Finally, spring game week. Tailgate's going to be a blast. And get to watch some ND football. See you Saturday, John. Oh, you certainly will. You certainly will. I wish it'd stay up in the 80s or the 70s. Looks like we're going to drop a little bit. All right. Here, Andrew, watch the White Sox, man. They can't field a real lineup. They don't even have professional at-bats. They don't hit the ball. Like, it's really bad. They don't hit the ball. Okay. All right. Here's my quick takeaway, and then I'm going to go to the calls, then we'll come back. Here's my overall takeaway from this scrimmage and then building in all that we've heard and learned or whatever about the team. The defense is so far ahead of the offense in terms of development of the total group. It's good and bad. Okay, they're way, way ahead. They're on year 3 with El Golden. They have a lot of good pieces there, a blend of old and young and all that. All right. So the defense is so far ahead. It's hard for the offense to get a lot of things done going up against that defense. So that's good for them in one way. That's really good for Notre Dame's offense that they're going against an elite level tough defense every day in practice. That's going to make it seem a lot easier when they're playing some of these dog teams for sure. That's my number one takeaway is the defense is so far ahead of the offense that it's hard to gauge exactly where a lot of this stuff is at. Here's the downstream effect of this. The downstream effect of this is Denbrock, you're going to earn that SEC salary we're paying you, because August is going to be chaotic for the offense. That's where this all comes home to roost. August is going to be chaos getting this offense on track. You have what, 3.5 weeks? Then you're in game preparation week. They have a lot of ground to make up. Now, the good thing is Denbrock's seen it all, done it all, knows what he wants things to look like, knows how far you are from where you want to be, all of that stuff. The beginning of August is going to be chaos. If Riley Leonard's healthy, you got to get him in there. And if you want him to be the number one, and then you got to try and gel and get him up to speed on everything, blah, 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 whatever you're going to do. That offensive line, I'm getting a little irpy with the offensive line. I'm getting a little, I don't know. I know our defense is good, but I'm hearing a lot of iffy things, man. And Texas A&M's got some dudes coming off the edge. Woo! Makes me a little nervous. Wide receivers, deeper group for sure. More athletic group for sure. Can I trust them? Not for sure. Like, what would there be that I could trust out of the wide receiver room? No. Not ultimate, not so fast, my friend. Got to see it to believe it, baby. So that's my takeaway, is the defense is so far ahead of the offense. All of the offense's installation plans this spring have been messed up because Riley Leonard's out. And then even right after Riley Leonard was out and he was Tony Hawk tricks on his Razor scooter, then you had Angeli was out with an illness. Like, it's just... Nothing has gone an ideal way. So that offense, the first week of August, bro, there's not 1 minute to waste in camp. I'm telling you, there's not one snap to take for granted when you get into August camp. If Leonard's healthy and you want him to be the one and put this all together, there's a lot of work to do. That offense is way behind the defense for a lot of reasons. And you got no leeway. You got to have a functional offense week one. This is not like last year where you could just halfway it and beat the first few teams and round into form. No. Rodney, what's going on? I got a 618 after that. Good morning, buddy.
Man, you catch me off guard with that, man. All of a sudden, beep.
Yeah, I know.
What's up, John?
I'm number one is I'm really excited to see everybody Saturday. That's number one, man. I'm upset that I lost my leprechaun mask. That's been bugging me all morning. But
I didn't. That is so weird because I don't know why. I just assumed the background that's there is not green screen. That's actually your house. But it makes sense that you would have that. That way you can swap them out.
Dude, I don't know where it is.
What a tragedy.
I don't know where it is.
Tragedy.
I'm hoping my parents are going to be like, it's in one of the boxes from the Central Michigan tailgate we threw in our garage and nobody thought of it. It's got to be somewhere. And I got this shillelagh. So that's concerning because usually they travel together. So I have his shillelagh, but I don't know where the mask is. I don't know.
You know what, though, John? I remember, I think it was at the summer signing, maybe it was the Sam Hartman signing, or maybe I'm confusing it for the tailgate, but I think it was the summer signing where I saw that mask just laying around, dude, somewhere in the corner. I'm like, oh my God, the mask. And I went up to it and just picked it up just to look at it. Just so I was like, oh, that's that mask.
It's got to be somewhere.
Point is, no, I didn't take it. No, I didn't. But my point is, it would be pretty, just because I didn't see it laying around like that. Now, I think probably what's going to happen is going to show up and, like you said, one of those boxes from the tailgate.
So I don't know, man, but it's been bugging me. What time is the tailgate Saturday? We'll probably be in there and all set up by 8:45, 9-ish, something like that. Give us some time to get in there. Look for the flags, you guys. I plan on having 2 flags, my flag, and then the one for the Goolsby and Kennedy Patreon. Look for the flags. And if it's not windy, it's 2 big white flags. So if you see a pole and it's not windy, that'll be it. But early in the morning, man.
And are you still looking at that where we have the Central Michigan tailgate? Is that where you're going to try and set up?
No, actually, because that's the north lot. I
Oh.
want to be in front of the stadium because it's way less people and you don't need a pass. So it's just going to be kind of in the Leahy lot, the Compton lot right there in the main part. Yeah.
Okay, so Leahy lot, Compton lot. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
that's where and we'll be there plenty early on a blue and gold game. We should be able to get in there and get.
You
all
know
set
how
up.
it is. I'm just worried about those phones not working and trying to get a hold of you, not being able. So as long as I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
good.
just look for the flags. So I want to know, Rodney, I mean, what do you take from any of this with the scrimmage? It got a lot of attention with these quarterbacks and Carr looking good and where the offense is at versus the defense in the last week of spring ball. I'm just wondering if any of this has crystallized you. You think you know about it now? What are your takeaways?
I mean, not really, John. I just think spring ball is so deceiving, and so is fall ball for that matter. When you're playing yourself, how does that factor into the emotional product on the field? You don't want to kill the guy in front of you because you're friends. Now, you might get a little chippy in practice. I get that. But you're probably not going to, don't get me wrong. I mean, running a 6 back for a touchdown is pretty embarrassing to the quarterback. And that certainly isn't feeling too sorry for his feelings. But what I'm saying, John, how many times I've gone into, like I said, even fall practice sometimes. You go into a game, wow, man, our defensive line has just been knocking the crap out of our offensive line. This is great. And then the offensive line is doing pretty good. Running game's looking good. Defensive line is getting pushed off the ball. Opening game against a team that's inferior to yours. I mean, I just don't think, and it's not because what you're doing in practice is not productive or that it's not working it's just that when you're lining up against each other, I just think the mentality is completely different. And it's so hard to tell, man. Having said that, if we just take what we have seen or heard and been reported, I will say that what a great problem to have. I want to think about what Andrew said about, if the freshman starts over the backups. What if that freshman didn't even exist? What if he wasn't part of the program? What if we had, a Drew Pine level? I don't mean to keep picking on Drew Pine, for God's sake. He's not that bad. But you know what I'm saying? Somebody who is a, 3-star quarterback in that position, right? Who's now a freshman and who's not clearly not beating out the other two. Or, the other two, let's say you had two guys who really has never, played a game, weren't that talented, but you had Carr as the freshman. And it was just certain that he was going to start. It's fine, but then now you're not real happy about the guys above them. So, point is, we have a very healthy quarterback room.
Yeah. Can I ask this? Do you think that I'm a conspiracy theorist for having it enter my mind that even if in all those coaches' hearts, they feel that Carr is the most advanced passer of the group besides Leonard, and it ain't even close, that they have hesitations about bumping him up because of the message that sends to the other two guys right now when the plan was to redshirt Carr? Am I being conspiratorial by me
even just that
thinking that through?
John, it's not even just that. You're missing, or I say you're missing, but here's the other part of that I'm sure you thought of too. What does that do to the freshman psyche the first time he gets a pick six against the other team in a loud stadium with 100,000 people screaming, right? As opposed to someone like Angeli or, maybe even Sheeks, who's been on campus at least a little bit for a while now, who are maybe more seasoned enough to take that sort of pressure. What I'm saying is we talk about this all the time in the NFL when it's that we're talking about it right now with Caleb Williams. Is he ready for the big time? The first time he plays bad in a few games in a row, is that going to send him straight down, a rabbit hole where he just can't get that confidence back? You're all, especially with college players, you are worried about that happening right away. You don't want to. That's why I say quarterback. It's so important to be a part of a good system because of where your head's at and where. How many guys that I was told. Tommy Reese being one of them. Okay, that's the first one that came to my mind. That had ice in his veins. Oh, this nothing can get to him. Yeah. And I saw him have a couple bad picks against Oklahoma and play like crap the rest of the game because he couldn't get out of his head. So even the guys who are apparently the most ready for that, man, when it starts bad so not only is he worried about Angeli and Minchie, I'm talking about Freeman and the coaching staff, but he probably worried about, okay, but and also there's the whole practice player versus game player. He hasn't played the game yet. Some players thrive on the pressure of a situation. Some are better, and it's kind of easier and they ease into it, as opposed to being, baptism by fire. Everybody works different, man. Some people need compliments to keep them going. Some people need to be coached really hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can lose a guy because you coached him too hard. He doesn't believe in himself because maybe he grew up in a household where he was always told he was nothing. I mean, you know what I'm saying, John? It really does factor in psychologically. So, yes, I absolutely believe, man, unless he is just blowing it away. And let's be honest, he's been doing this against the 2s and 3s. Now, Notre Dame's got a pretty good 2s and 3s defense. Let's be honest. A lot of teams love to have Notre Dame's 2s and 3s on defense, but still, it's So I just think it's and yes, and all those other political reasons, politically on the team. I mean, diplomatically speaking, keeping players involved. It is much healthier for Notre Dame's room if it's Angeli or Minchie taking the reins, Carr coming up, because you're not going to lose Carr. You know what I mean? If he's not the starter, he expects that. He respects the guys in front of him. But it's a lot harder as a guy who is a veteran to have this guy come up behind you, and pass you up. I'm just saying, like, if he is far and away better, if he is just absolutely lighting it up, that's a different topic. But if he's doing the best ball, but there's other things they're doing better, it's good to hear that he's doing that, by the way. Then to me, that's the healthy. And the fact that they were way, because I want them to get that out of their system. Get it out of your system against a really good defense that's going to challenge you every day to be better.
Yeah.
Again, will this translate into the fall against Texas A&M game 1? I don't know. But
Rodney, that's the big thing, man. That's what's throwing me off is this defense I know is going to be good. It is a matter of how good. That defense is going to be good. They're proven. I can trust a lot of it. There's certain things I have a little anxiety about, but overall, they're going to be really, really good. Then that taints how this offense looks the whole time. And I don't know what the realities are. I don't know whether I'm not worrying about the offense enough or if I'm over worrying about the offense because development just takes time. I don't know the realities of it, but I do know this. I trust Mike Denbrock to have a good vision and know exactly what the scoreboard is, where this team falls compared to where he wants them to be. That gives me some comfort and confidence because Denbrock's not guessing. He knows deep in his mind and heart where they're at compared to where they need to be and how to get there. He's got to be frustrated. This spring has not gone as smoothly as they want. Injury, nothing you could do about it. He knows what he needs. That gives me a little comfort.
But again, John, and I agree with everything you're saying, by the way. But again, what if this was 3 years ago and you couldn't just take a quarterback like that from the portal, and pay him a bunch of money, or, offer him a NIL deal that accumulates him a lot of money. Let's say this a few years ago, we would never even have Riley Leonard. So the guys you would have in the room right now would be Angeli, would be Minchie, and Carr, obviously, as the new guy, right? With Deuce Knight on deck, right? I mean, that's the way it would be if it wasn't for, so in other words, this is what it would have been anyway. So I just think, yes, it hurts. It does hurt the development of Leonard. That's correct. That is true. But if it means saving him his health at the expense of a little more experience in the spring, work with your team, I'll take that. And number two, if it means these guys get more attention, it's hard to look at this, in my opinion, I know glass half full, glass half empty. For whatever reason in this scenario, I think this is a glass half full situation.
Yeah.
And then, John, and feel free to comment on that. But I want to make sure before I get off the phone, I talk about this Chip Kelly thing because you sparked something in my head that I think is I'm so glad you did. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Okay, right on. Just the fact that, man, it was refreshing to hear him say that. Haven't you thought in the last several years, so you see all these coaches, they do great at whatever side of the ball they're on. They get head coaching jobs, and more than half of them fail because to be a head coach, it requires something different. It really does. And I am shocked, John, this doesn't happen more often. I'm shocked more guys. I mean, it's everybody's ego and I don't want to say it's all about the ego. Some people are just meant to be leaders and they feel like that's their calling. I get it. So I'm not saying it's all for egotistical reasons by any means. But it is interesting to me that more coaches don't decide, hey, I'm really good at coaching offense and I make a pretty damn good salary, but oh my God, I don't have to deal with this, or this.
Yeah.
I am shocked that doesn't happen more
I think
often.
you're going
and
to
God
see
bless
it.
Him for saying that, man.
Rodney, that's
Because
my prediction. You're going to see it.
Does happen more often now. People just be happy with what you're good at. God love. Oh my God, God bless us that Freeman seems to love it. He seems to get off on it.
Yeah.
He seems to love this stuff.
Nope. I see it the same way.
Thank God.
I see it the same way. I think this college football coaching's quickly turning into a young man's game. The reason why is with the calendar expanding and the portal and all this stuff, it is a year-round thing. Every single day there's something to worry about and do. The responsibilities are more than ever before. And the control you have over what you're doing is lessening with every year that goes by. A lot of these guys are not going to want to deal with it. I think it's going to be a young man with energy game. And I wouldn't be surprised seeing a lot of those older coaches, but that could still go longer, step down and do media.
Yeah,
step
they really
down
know offense or really know defense.
Go be an analyst. Go be an analyst somewhere. Go do whatever and make decent money, but not have the constant headaches of fundraising and NIL BS and trying to keep a guy from transferring and going to raise money at the local alumni club. All this stuff that stretches these guys thin. I don't think they're all going to want to do it anymore. And if you have a older coach that doesn't have the energy, I think you're in a bad spot. Unless you have everything set up with NIL where you could just kind of print the money and the guys come. But I think you're going to see a trend. I just found it refreshing that he just said, I just want to coach ball, man. It's that simple. I don't want to worry about all this.
I love the comment, and I'm glad. I hope that he has led the way for now. I mean, it's weird to say it like that, but my God, to be an offensive or defensive coordinator with that kind of money you get, I mean, when you compare it to head coaching salaries, fine. But when you compare it to like every other human being living on the planet, I mean, you're in the top 1%.
Wait, but here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, though. He's been getting a head coach money for a lot of his career, so he doesn't need he's already up millions and millions and millions. You can afford to take a demotion for a $750K a year job or $2 million or whatever they're paying him. I don't know. But anyways,
that's what I'm saying.
I can see it being a trend.
I think in life, it kind of goes back to your thing on greed yesterday, the video you put out. But I want to say there's more to it than just greed. I think a lot of it's habit. I think you just feel like you just got to always, I think that's what capitalism does in society. I'm not saying capitalism is bad or anything like that. I'm just saying like, that's one of the bad things about every system's got something bad about it. And one of the downfalls of capitalism, you just think you have to keep getting profit. At some point, it's like, wait a second. I'm happy. Like, what about happiness? What about, more time with friends? What about, what about just coaching football?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird because I imagine, I know it would for me, all that crap right now with NIL, even though I agree with it to a degree, I mean, it's unregulated. That's where it needs to be regulated. But I agree with the concept. I wouldn't want to deal with it. I wouldn't want anything. I wouldn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, man. I'm like, yeah, I'll be the quarterback's coach. I'll be the, you know what I mean? I'd be just fine doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or God forbid, running the entire offense or running the entire defense. Isn't that enough? Yeah. Like I get it, man. So I totally understand.
Rodney, where I think this all comes to a head is the defense is finishing touches, icing on the cake, finding their little extra gears, figuring out niche packages, what role for what guy. But I think the nuts and bolts of that defense is there, and they're going to be good. August is going to be crunch time. That offensive side of the ball, they've got to do like double the work in 3 weeks in August because they weren't able to get a lot of things they needed to get done this spring. That's what it's all going to be about. When August starts, they cannot ease into it. They need to hit it hard and catch up. That's kind of where I think the scoreboard is to me in my mind.
Absolutely. And let's just, look, I hope it's Leonard because I do think he gives them the best chance to win at his best. at full healthy. I'm saying 100% healthy at his best from what I've seen on game film. For what I think that the experience, the ability to be elusive. He's a big guy. He's got a Cam Newton-like build. I'm just saying from a build standpoint. He's a Notre Dame type of guy. I mean, the mom, I'm sure, will be giving us a lot of things to talk about on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I mean, she's an animated person. That's great. But if he wasn't available, or if he gets hurt in game one, wouldn't we be happy that we had a spring where we were trying to further develop Angeli and Minchie? I mean, you would much rather have that if you knew he was going to get hurt.
Right.
Then, you know what I'm saying? It's a different way of looking at it. I'm glad we're building our quarterback room. I'm just
glad there's building blocks in the quarterback room. So maybe that's the best place to look at it. Rodney, I will see you in a few days, my friend. Anything on the way out? Looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, there is something on the way out. So everybody, head to Always Irish Tailgate on Saturday. And tell them Always Irish sent you.
I like that. Good one. I'll text you some more details. See ya. Oh, boy. Rodney is never low on energy. That much is for sure. Does that make sense? I'm glad that our quarterback and wide receiver rooms are no longer thin. Sloppy Joe, the other thing, here's where I'm at on these wide receivers. It seems like depending on what day you look at, certain guys flash. Micah Gilbert getting a lot of publicity and all that. And then at Saturday's thing, it was Great House getting a lot of pump up. Yeah, Rodney is a good guy, Andrew. He comes to every event that I have, man. All the tailgates he's at, the Sam Hartman NIL event, he was there all day for that. Like a really good dude, supports the cause. I feel like those wide receivers, the group is going to be better. And I have no doubt the group is going to be a better group. How much better? I'm telling you exactly where I'm at with the wide receivers. They are going to be a better group. How much better? You could be better than you were the last 2 years and still be nowhere near where I need you to be. You feel me? You picking up what I'm putting down? This group has been so ineffective and not reliable for the last couple years. I'm confident they're going to be better than that. But you could be better than that. Still not good enough. How much better? How much more reliable? You know what's not a good start in the reliability? Jaden Thomas, hamstring again. I'm hamstrung by the hamstring. Every time I turn around, hamstrung, bro. Don't sleep on Jay Thomas. If healthy, he will produce. Yeah, and he wasn't happy, and he wasn't producing, and he dragged that leg around all year last year. So I just believe it when I see it. When I see these guys get behind the A&M defense in the crescendo of the sunset in the Texas heat, then I'll believe it. I ain't believing nothing till then. I'm sorry, you have not proven it. You're not Notre Dame's tight ends, where I could have some anxieties with injuries, but you have the lineage that I literally trust. It's going to be fine. Wide receiver don't have that in Notre Dame. No way. No way. So, I don't know. Yeah, Andrew, coming back to the phones. Look at this. A&M's going to blitz a ton. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? And, I mean, Elko's going to be able to know, assuming Riley Leonard's healthy and he's his starter, there's nobody that knows all of his weaknesses more than Elko. They're going to dial it all up. Elko's not a dummy. He's going to know Notre Dame has new tackles, and he's going to try and overwhelm and confuse them early and often in the games on the road at their place. Dangerous situation. Dangerous. With that O-line, here's my position. I don't expect the offensive line to be a fully cohesive, gelled together, fully functioning, great unit week 1. I don't expect that. That would be completely outrageous and unrealistic to expect. They don't need to be that. They just need to be good enough you can win. And then you develop from that. That is my level. I don't expect perfection and fully gelled week 1. I don't need that. You got to be good enough to win. You got to be good enough to win. And Denbrock's got to find a way to make A&M pay if they're going to slant downhill and really get after it. If they're going to try and overwhelm the line and rush, beat them. Make them pay for it. Wherever they're sending somebody from, boop, throwing it right there. Like, you got to be ready. I'm already having anxiety about it. QBs have been awful at ND for many years, yet John has confidence in Riley Leonard. Here's what I will say. I'm not sure how good he's going to be. I don't think I've ever said that I'm sold Riley Leonard's going to be awesome. I just know that the staff wants him to be the starter. I don't think here's what I will say. If he's healthy, him being a natural dual threat helps. That I do think. Sam Hartman is a sitting duck back there, and if the play doesn't work out, he's burning it in the ground or throwing it 8 rows deep. Like, once in a while he can scramble and run, but there's got to be a big opening, but it's not a natural feature of his game. It is a natural feature of Riley Leonard's game. That makes a difference to me. A broken play isn't a dead play with that guy back there. Also, just on its face, Riley Leonard presents the threat that he might keep it, pull it, and run it, and that's going to alter what a defense is going to be able to do when they're preparing for Notre Dame. I'm not sure about the passing game and what that's all going to look like, but I do like that we're starting out with a dual threat guy that a defense coordinator's got to worry about taking off on you. That helps. That helps. I trust Denbrock to play the best quarterback. If he's healthy, it's going to be Leonard. Either for whatever reason you want to say. I'm just telling you. 618, and I got a 707 after that. What's going on, 618? Good morning to you.
What's up, Johnny, man?
Hey, man,
Yeah,
I'm getting excited for the blue and gold game. I'm getting excited for the tailgate, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around what the realities are that I could take out of that scrimmage they had Saturday.
I wouldn't take nothing off the scrimmage. I'd be more so looking like at the spring game, because that's more of a fast-paced setting than just a scrimmage. So we'll see, man. We'll see Saturday. But what I've been hearing off the wide receiver room is that Greyhouse has looked the best every day. He's the first one there, the last one to leave. He just looked the best out of all the receivers.
You know what, man? Here's something about that I've been thinking of. I think he was a little more banged up last year than anyone realized. And I think that his production started to drop when the other guys dropped like flies. He wasn't fully healthy. You had to move around the field a little bit in different spots. It messed up that good early start that he had to the year. And it was a struggle. So if he's fully healthy, then let's roll, baby. I heard that he looked really good on Saturday too. I'm here for it. And then yeah. I don't know what to make. Chris Mitchell, all that speed I hear about. I just don't know. I'm not sure what to expect from some of these guys, but I just hear he's fast, and I'll take fast. It's better than slow.
Yeah, yeah, man. And we don't have, I think this year, man, our wide receiver room is going to be. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I think. But hearing that, man, I'm rooting for Kenny Minchie, but I don't ever hear anything about Minchie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of like you feel like he's stuck in between, kind of. It's a weird place to be, but he just feels kind of stuck, lost in the ether in the middle.
It just seems like coaches and nobody is paying attention to him. We don't even know how good he could be if you're not paying attention to him. You know, like nobody paying attention to me.
Yeah.
Like, he's just here just to be here.
Man, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know how you look at that, but they're all getting more opportunities with Leonard out. What do you make of the O-line? Are you nervous? They're moving guys around. They had trouble at Saturday against the number 1 D, and they were getting beat and this and that off the edge. Like, dude, I'm starting to get a little bit of that O-line anxiety for week 1 here, and I'm 5 months early, bro.
Listen to me, John.
5 months.
John,
I'm going to have no hair by the game at this rate. Come on, man. Come on.
Don't get no anxiety. Don't get into that because, man, dude, Notre Dame got a top 3 defense.
Yeah,
that defensive line is like top 3. So I wouldn't take a whole bunch into account of them not looking good against probably a top 3 defensive line, but they won't see that every week. Yeah. They will not see a defensive line or a defense like Notre Dame all season, just about.
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it, and it's a really great test. And I just, those tackles make me nervous. And maybe if we played Central or Miami, Ohio week 1, I wouldn't feel that way. But there is no easing in.
I even think that
there is no easy in. Elko's sending them. Elko's sending those. He is going to send those oil money paper plays off the edge all night, and we better be ready for it, baby.
And you know what's going to happen, man? We're going to beat that. We're going to beat that. Because come on, man. I love Elko, but I don't think he's a better defensive-minded guy than what Jim Brock is as an offensive guy.
Yeah, it's it's going to be really interesting, and I don't know, man. I just feel like that offense is going to have a lot of work to do come August and not a lot of time to do it, man. It's going to be a time crunch. If they want it to be Leonard and he's healthy, they have a lot to pull together in about 3 weeks. Denbrock, earn that salary, baby.
And I think that, man, if Ronnie Leonard is not healthy to go and you actually do have to go with Carr, I think Carr athletic enough to get away, get away from the pressure, you know what I mean? He, even though I like Minchie on better, but I think what Carr is a little bit more athletic than what Minchie is.
Man, it's gonna be really interesting. So I don't know, man. And then we can go ahead and start talking about Saturday. What's the main things you're gonna keep your eyes on for blue and gold? What are you looking for specifically?
I'm looking at the offensive. I'm mostly looking at the right tackle spot. Because that's where I'm hearing that they having the most trouble with.
Yeah.
On the offensive line is the right tackle.
Yeah.
I think Jagasaw is going to be okay.
And then I want to know Emil Wagner. What is he getting that weight up? Because he was 276 or something. That is not a tackle. So the big thing with him to even compete for that spot is he's got to get beefed up, I think, over 300. So I don't know where they're at on that.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at on that either. But I'm just saying, I'm not worried because Notre Dame do have a top 3 defense, have a top 3 defensive line, and it's gonna be kind of crazy. But they're not gonna see that. Maybe they might see it against A&M. Possibility they might see it against Florida State. There's a possibility they might see it against SC. But them the only 3 games that you'll see it against. Everybody else they won't see that type of pressure come. That's a lot of pressure when you come down to Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame has a really good defensive line, man.
Yep.
Last year we were talking man, we were scared of the defensive line, but this year, man, we're not scared.
And so
they got one of the better defenses.
What I think Denbrock and Gino are going to have some tough talks from the end of the blue and gold game through the dog days of summer, and they're going to have a plan. And the second that first day of fall camp they got to hit it hard. They're going to want to ease into it and not push it to have any injuries or anything. And you almost don't have the luxury. I think they're behind and they just have a lot of work to do. And it's nobody's fault. It's just injuries. That's not a blamable thing. However, they're going to have a lot of ground to make up, man. Denbrock, you got a lot of work to do the first few weeks of August in the heat, boy.
I'm thinking, man, and then with the transfer portal, it's a possibility we might lose Minchie and Angeli.
Man, that really, really kind of shapes up your quarterback situation, doesn't it? Like, it makes it a lot more direct if that happened. But that's the issue is if you wanted to bump Carr up to number 2, you're sending a signal for 2 guys to leave, not 1. And the staff's not going to want to do that. I'm just telling you, even if everybody agrees he is the number 2 guy, I'm telling you, they don't want to do that because they don't want to lose 2 quarterbacks. They don't want to lose 2 guys.
I don't think he's the because I'm hearing good. The little bit I hear about Minchie is really good. I just hear like the staff is like kind of overlooking him, like, you know, he's just here.
Yeah.
You know, that's not their guy, you know.
Yeah,
he's not their guy.
I don't know, but these are better. These are better problems to have than me not even liking the starter. So I will say that. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting.
And I kind of feel the same way about Angeli because at first we heard a whole lot about Angeli, then actually, you know, we're hearing a whole lot about Carr, and maybe Angeli ain't their guy. You know, maybe he's just like Minchie. He's not their guy. One of them is going to leave, if not both.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that too. So I don't know, man.
I'm pretty sure that I would rather for to see Angeli leave and go start somewhere because he's been in this system for so long and he haven't got his opportunity over 3 years than to see Minchie walk away and next year we just go into it with, you know, where Minchie, both of them get playing time. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that one of them going to walk away, if not both.
Oh, man, it's going to be really interesting. And also for Blue and Gold, I want to see young dudes, man. I want to see the second-year players that are developing. I want to see those early enrollees. Now's the time to let them shine. I want to see speed, athleticism, length. I want young guys to get a lot of play Saturday. That's what it's for. Figure out who could help you. I want to see young dudes flash. Early enrollees and year 2 and 3 guys that have not really been in the forefront. Now is your time. I want to see them shine on Saturday.
Yeah, because I definitely want to see that, man. You know, because we got to send a message to the younger guys, the high schoolers that we're recruiting. That hey, man, we're more than just you know what I'm saying, transfer portal guys. We did this year because we lost a lot so quick. So now we're coming back because I think next year we won't have a transfer portal quarterback unless, you know what I'm saying, both of them guys leave. Both of them guys leave, and we probably get a transfer portal quarterback to back up Carr. But then again, I think Carr might be fighting for his life if this kid get it right and get accurate. Deuce Knight.
Yeah, man, these are good problems to have, man. I don't know how to think about it. Maybe Carr wins the job straight up next year, and then Deuce develops, and then they have a battle after that when Deuce is more developed. That's one scenario up on the table. I would hope maybe they're done with the transfer stuff. I'm getting Williams. Yeah. Then I'm about done with this. Can we grow our own guy and have a little continuity and rhythm with our own team? Unless it's a guy like Caleb Williams, where it's obviously like, I don't know, whatever, man. Anyways, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never see that, man. A guy like Caleb Williams would be in the NFL draft.
Yeah. With
all this.
So I don't know, man. And then maybe I'll see you Saturday. If you're gonna go, swing by. You know where we'll be.
All right, my man.
Have a good one. Happy Monday. Thank you. Take care. He's a regular caller, man. Angeli will stay for the degree. Yeah. There is a part of that as well. Well, I don't understand. Why is there a movement to protect the offensive line and act like they're better than they are? I don't understand that. What is the motivation behind doing that? I don't get it. People are talking about the O-line or whatever, like major question mark to me. You want to talk about all this excitement with Denbrock and all the changes he's going to bring and the new, more exciting offense. And we want to take more shots and we want to keep a defense off balance. And we want to do all this. Okay. You could have all those plans in the world. If those tackles are bad and you get no push up the middle, you're done. You're done. Or you end up with this situation where Riley Leonard's running for his life. And then he ends up probably hurt again in the season. I'm calling it now. That's what's going to happen. If you have an O-line that can't properly protect and do the things that we need them to do, then you're going to end up with Riley Leonard having to run around a lot. And that's how you get your ankle twisted into an Annie M's pretzel or whatever it's called. What's that stupid soft pretzel? Annie M's? Whatever it is, your leg's going to be a pretzel. Some of the things that I yell at I don't know why. Annie Ann. Yeah, I was close. Annie M, Annie, close enough. Whatever it is, I know I don't want my quarterback's leg in a circle. Annie M's from the Wizard of Oz. Annie M. Oh, boy. The next soundbite. Annie M, dude. The Wizard of Oz rules, man. The Wizard of Oz hilarious. If you just think about how wild the concepts are in the Wizard of Oz, it's pretty wild. And then if you play Dark Side of the Moon if you just play Dark Side of the Moon for Pink Floyd from the beginning of the movie, all of the ups and downs and the crescendos in the music flows with the video. People were talking about gummies. Eat you about 3 gummies and then pull up on YouTube Wizard of Oz Dark Side of the Moon, bro. It'll blow your mind. You'll be like, wow. That scarecrow really is dancing. Wow, that man really is made of tin. And that lion really is scared. A witch is amazing now. You can't have a better bad guy. If you want to talk about movie villains, Margaret Hamilton as the witch is got to be number 1 all-time bad movie villain. No one else could ever play that role as good as Margaret Hamilton played that role. She's the Wicked Witch for life. And then she went on Mr. Rogers in the 80s and did the laugh. And then all the parents wrote in and said, you scared my kid. Don't ask why I know so much about the Wizard of Oz. Okay. Oh, 707. What's going on?
Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm starting to feel like there's some energy building towards blue and gold. People are excited to get over there and see some football. And I'm just wondering where people are at with this spring. How do you feel?
I feel good about the team overall and everything I'm hearing. I just in reference to what you've been talking about so far, I'm not going to take anything away from the spring games and scrimmages, except for it's fun to see. It's exciting to see. Wait. You're
really going to take nothing? Is there not any certain things that you're going to pull out of it and be like, I'm going to put this in my bank that I feel like I can rely on or trust? You really don't have any of those items? What about on defense?
I mean, if you see someone really balling out, it looks like they're moving at light speed compared to everyone else, that's going to stick out, and you're going to be excited about that, and that's something you could take. But, for example, Carr having a gun at spring ball, so what? There's probably 50,000 Americans who can throw a nice spiral when they don't have to worry about Xavier Watts committing what would normally be a felony against them.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole different situation from what game day is going to be. It's fun. It's exciting. I want to watch. But it's not. Spring games aren't going to tell you who wins in October. I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a fun thing to try to get people excited. and you get a little sneak peek, and it's a fun event, and people get to hang out, and it's great. I think it's a great thing, but it's not going to be predictive of our season. I don't believe. And then along with that, with Carr, I think people have to be real careful. Not real careful. We're just chatting about things, so no big deal. You can think what you want, whatever. But the reality is being a quarterback at a Division I program like Notre Dame, throwing the ball well is not even, that's like the least of your job. The leadership, the intelligence of being able to read the defenses, know what your players are going to do, the bond you have with your receivers, the maturity you have when, again, Xavier Watts is running at you full speed. All of those things are what differentiate my high school freshman quarterback from a Division I baller. You know, a lot of people can throw a spiral, but to be able to do that in the midst of battle with a million things going on, et cetera, that's a whole different thing. So I don't think I wouldn't get too excited. It's thinking that Carr's like the savior, or he's John Elway reincarnate or something. Got to wait and see when things are really on the line. He's been sacked 6 times, had a couple 300-pounders fall on him. He's losing the game and has, and he's upset about it. That's when you're going to see what kind of quarterback he really is, not when he's tossing the ball at the spring game.
Now, do you agree? Do you agree with my assessment? I know you're like holding back on judging things. Do you agree with my generally vague assessment that the defense is way ahead of the offense, just by the fact it's year 3 of this system, not in year 1, and they have a lot of guys back? Do you agree with that, at least, that offense has a lot of catching up to do when we get back to August camp? Or do you think if I'm exaggerating that, tell me. I won't
even take that from the scrimmage.
Tell me.
Really, because there's so many variables that could be we might be misviewing things. We're not seeing practice. We're not seeing everything else. I think you're probably right. But again, I wouldn't use what little we've seen as like, oh yeah, judgment time. Yeah, definitely. For sure, our offense is way behind. Maybe not. And again, we're talking about relative to each other at a spring game. I think it's gonna be a whole different ball game once we hit the ball games. But I think both of them are going to be fine. I think we're looking like a good team. I think everything that we're hearing is everything's moving in the right direction. Saturday.
What are you looking to see on Saturday for blue and gold? Where are your eyes going to go? What's on your list of things to watch?
I don't have a list. I want people to have fun both on the field and the fans. I want it to be a positive experience, get people excited. I'd like it, I'd like them to mix it up a little bit. I don't want to see a run and gun the whole time, or just run it up the middle or anything like that. Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And let I want a lot of different people to get on the field. I want all the quarterbacks to see the field.
Yep.
I want all the receivers to get some time out there to run down in Notre Dame Stadium with a crowd.
And you know what I want to do? Here's what I want them to do. We've been hearing we want a more explosive offense. Denbrock's in here to do that, blah, 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 blah. Can they actually throw the ball around a little bit? They get real conservative in these spring games a lot of times. I think they have an obligation to let these guys run and open it up a little bit. See if these quarterbacks can hit some of these deep balls. Let these guys run so we can see it. I hope they really do let these guys cook up some cool shit.
I agree on a personal level. Like my personal wish would be to see some really nice play action passes going downfield or whatever. What what I could see, though, them thinking, A, they don't want to get people injured. You don't want a safety flying across the field and hurting somebody, or you don't want to give away anything, or what
Yeah,
you don't want
there's gotta be
Texas
some stuff
A&M
you
to
could
know what's
show.
coming. You don't want to know you got a new Rocket Ismail hiding in your
Oh, I wish.
locker room. Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be great? But so I could see both ways. I mean, ultimately, Coach Freeman's job is to win every game he can within the moral bounds of Notre Dame University.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's not to make everybody happy in April. It's not to show off to the fans when it doesn't matter. His job's to win games in the fall.
That's fair.
And
yeah,
so,
that's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and along with that, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt to what to do with the quarterback room and who's gonna be in what spot and where. I think nobody wants to win on Saturday more than Marcus Freeman. You might want it as much, but you don't want it more than him. And I mean, he wants it as much as anybody on the face of the planet. And he's a competitor. He's going to give it his best. And so I think he's going to do what he believes to be correct. And so far, I think he's doing a great job. I think he's a good man. And I have some faith in him. He's not Jesus. He doesn't walk on water. He's going to make mistakes. He's a human just like us. But he is top quality from everything I've seen. So I'm going to go ahead and trust him. I do want to talk in line with that about Angeli and Minchie both transferring out. I do think at some point, and it's going to depend on the person, obviously, and what their dreams are and everything else. But at some point, if I'm Steve Angeli right now, and I'm looking at my situation in Notre Dame and my career at Notre Dame, my thought about football would be this. You're not going to the NFL. You're not John Elway. You might go to the NFL to be, a backup there or on the practice squad or whatever. But Steve Angeli is not going to be a first round draft pick in 2 years. I think that's pretty obvious to everybody. He could go transfer and go to TCU or whatever and play for a year there and start and, have some good things happen, get a bunch of wins, maybe win a bowl game, and his career's over.
Yeah.
Or he goes to the XFL or whatever. But if I'm Steve Angeli, I'm going to Coach Freeman and saying, look, I understand I'm probably not going to be the starter with what we're doing here. Obviously, I'm not going to be starting this year. There's a lot of temperature coming in, but I just want to let you know, I understand I'm sticking with Notre Dame. I want to get my degree here. I like being here. I like being around you guys. And I don't have an NFL career ahead of me. So maybe if I could spend some extra time with the coaches, learning what you guys do, and maybe coaching something that I could continue my football career in. I'm a smart guy. I go to Notre Dame, played at Notre Dame. I'm quarterback. So can you help me out? I'll carry the clipboard. I'll, help me learn more about being a coach, because he's surrounded by great coaches.
Yeah. And I don't want to underestimate the Notre Dame degree part of this too. When I'm talking about guys transferring, I'm basing it just on football. There are a lot of guys who just love Notre Dame and are willing to not be the starter to stick around and get their Notre Dame degree in their initial college go around. I understand some guys come back later. I mean, I get that too. I get that.
I'd be a tackle dummy at practice. And I'm 145 pounds and 46 years old. I'd be a tackle dummy at practice if they'd take me for a Notre Dame scholarship.
So I don't want to underestimate that. But listen, man, I like you kind of pouring a little water on the hype of all this and putting it in perspective, bringing me down a little bit, not to look into everything as much as I do. I appreciate that. Anything on the way out? Thanks for the call. Get us started on Monday.
Nope. I hope you have a great day, John.
Oh, thank you very much, my friend. Have a good one. I like that. He's just kind of balancing things out here, chilling out a little bit. Somebody says, oh, this is going to get me in trouble. Somebody said, Darth Vader's the best movie villain of all time, not the Wizard of Oz. Here's why I'm going to push back. I mean this genuinely. I am not trolling. I mean this genuinely. Here's why I'm going to push back. Everyone in the world, kid to adult, can understand a wicked witch. What it represents, a wicked witch and a broom and the mean lady and whatever, and a spell, whatever. Everybody knows what a wicked witch is and does and what it everything. Bro, I have tried to watch multiple Star Wars movies. I have no idea what's going on at all. Turn it off in 5 minutes. I just have no idea what the plot of the movie is. I have no idea. I have literally went out of my way like, I'm finally going to understand this, the whole Star Wars thing. I'm going to watch this. Bro, 3 minutes into the movie, we're flying through galaxies and this is a spaceship's landing on this planet. Nobody knows what's going on. I have no idea what is going on in any of the movies. I cannot even follow the plot. I feel like I don't have like the gene to understand Star Wars, which kind of tells me I'm not a nerd. I don't understand the point of the movies. We're flying in different galaxies and this person's doing that, but I have no idea why. There's a Sasquatch that's the kind of the boss, but not really. A computer, robot, Roomba. I don't understand. I can't understand what's going on in the movie. A wicked witch, a little kid knows a mean witch. Darth Vader, I don't know if he's a good guy, a bad guy, nothing. I'm not a dumb guy. I'm sorry. I get a graduate degree. I can read. I got analytical skill. I have no idea what's going on in any Star Wars movie, bro. Just too much random crap that doesn't... I have no idea what's going on. You're just flying through different galaxies, and I can never tell who's on whose side, what we're trying to do. Nothing. Darth Vader looks cool. That's the most I'm going to give you. He looks cool. But as far as what's happening, you got to be a brainiac to be able to understand the plots of Star Wars. Anyways. But, I mean, what do I know? But I genuinely, my whole life growing up, I was like, Star Wars, this is like some scientific stuff for nerds. Sci-fi, Star Trek, Star Wars, it was all the same to me. Star, nerd, something. And then I got older and I'm like, bro, Star Wars is a big thing. Maybe I missed the boat here and I need to go back and try it. And I had no idea what was going on. I gave it all the genuine intent. It's not too much to ask that I just can figure out the plot. We're just jumping galaxies, planet hopping, and I'm supposed to know what all these people, whose side they're on. I have no idea what's going on. I just don't get it, man. I missed that there's a gene. There's a Star Wars gene where like you get it. I don't have it. Watch whatever you like, but I can never follow any of those movies. No idea what's going on. It's a story of balancing the force, John. You are too analytical and think too much about it. Just enjoy the entertainment, but I want to know why they're doing what they're doing. They couldn't even tell who's on whose side. And I want to know why that Sasquatch is there. Why is the Sasquatch involved? I don't understand the Sasquatch part. I don't know. I don't get it. Andrew, let's try and get this back on the tracks, huh?
Hey, what's going on, John? How are you, man?
I'm good. Andrew, I could tell you I'm feeling the energy kind of go up. People are excited about blue and gold, get to see some football. I feel the energy's rising a little bit this week, and I'm enjoying that because after that, we have radio silence till August. So I'm enjoying the little energy boost.
Definitely. Well, I think, I actually sort of agree with the last caller that maybe you shouldn't take too much from one scrimmage. Although I do want to say that like Kent put in the chat that, he plays quarterback and, one scrimmage doesn't mean a lot. But I will say that like when you're in spring football, there are like pretenders who like maybe were really good athletes or basketball players who can look good in spring practice drills. But when you actually play like a real game, all of a sudden you see who the real football players are. So
yeah,
I think I would take away a little bit there.
But also, Andrew,
yeah.
It's not just the reports from Saturday's scrimmage. It's that added to all of the other reports from spring and what I know where each of these units is starting from coming out of last year. Like, it's not that one thing in a vacuum. It's adding that information to what you already think you know from all those other sets of data too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think honestly, the big loser of the scrimmage and who's really, I think, let's see how he bounces back on Saturday when the real lights are on is Angeli, because this guy has like a pretty golden opportunity. I mean, if he's as good as like some of the people in the chat are really pushing Angeli, that he's getting like the lion's share of the first team reps. It's his first opportunity to try to see that, hey, I am a 1B type quarterback, because I don't think he'll ever surpass Riley Leonard. But, hey, maybe he really pushes Leonard and they would go to him if Leonard went down. This is the time to show up. And when he throws 2 picks, it's like, if the dude's going to throw 2 picks, why not go with like a Minchie or a Carr? You know what I mean? Because we already know that those guys are works in progress. They're the future.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah.
So I think that he really, because I was thinking Minchie had the most pressure on him come spring because of Carr, but in really thinking about it, it's Angeli. Because if Angeli just shows that he's just another guy, a Jag, then like why? Like why even put him as the backup? You know what I mean? Might as well, especially if Carr is really good. And we've seen this in Notre Dame past before where coaches got super excited about their prized.
No, okay. Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this on a practical level. Did they even want Carr to be the backup? Like, do they? Because Andrew, follow
think so.
Follow me. Right. Yeah. Follow me here. There's 2 things I see with that are weird. One is it would be great if the guy just came in the door, rises up, and is clearly the second best guy. That'd be a good sign overall. But where my mind goes is, do you want your backup in live games to be a guy with 0 experience at all? I don't know if they want that or not. And then 2, the message it sends to the other 2 guys who are going to get jumped. And for those reasons, I think they're pretty content to hold on to that red shirt and not let that horse get out of the barn. But maybe I'm misreading it completely. I'm not trying to stir up drama. This is just where my head goes with the dynamic.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it all depends on how good they think Angeli is. Because if they think Angeli stinks, they're not going to put him in, because like imagine how much criticism you would get if you went with Angeli and he throws 2 picks and loses the game.
So where's that line? Nobody knows that answer. Where's the line? Like how much does Carr have to impress for them to alter what they had in their minds as wanting to be the plan? That's a question I have that I don't have the answer to, and I'm just wondering it in a vacuum.
Well, I think Carr's got a lot of work to do, because I mean, there's good points being made in the chat that he's going against like backups. Like he was literally throwing he literally threw a touchdown to a guy who was a walk-on. So I think that gives you an idea of like the quality of players who are in the game. But he's the prize guy. Like that's why like I never understood Goolsby's like whole like push to get Minchie, because it's just like Goolsby, man, you just want to set yourself up for constant disappointment because Minchie's got nobody backing him.
he was not highly recruited by Notre Dame. They clearly wanted Dante Moore, and they took a run at the Baylor, the guy who committed to Baylor and then ended up going to Oregon. Minchie was like third or fourth down their list. And then so it's just like I think that I think Minchie stands to lose reps to Carr right now because of the performance. Carr has to jump him though, and actually maybe produce against some first teamers. But I think honestly, Angeli has a lot of pressure. If he comes out and has like a Drew Pine spring performance and throws a bunch of picks, then I think they'll go Young as the backup. And I don't think they give a crap if that happened. They wouldn't give a crap if Angeli transferred. And to the people in the chat saying that, oh, well, Angeli will stay because he wants his degree. Well, that didn't work for Drew Pine or Tyler Buckner. And then they both were able to come back and get their degree. So if Angeli's got a competitive bone in his body, he'll transfer, especially if he gets jumped. So I think it was just this is all to say that Angeli really had a great opportunity. And I think he failed his first test. And so if he goes out and has a similar performance in the spring, then I think they'll go Young as the backup. Because why? I mean, you can get that kind of production out of the two young guys. Why waste reps on this dude who's not going to be helping the team out?
Yeah, and you could make a real argument. Listen, if Notre Dame ended up doing something where like messed up what everybody thought the plan was or whatever, then God bless them. That would be impressive. If Freeman was like, doesn't matter what year you are, how many snaps you have, we're lining this up with the best guys, and this is who performed. That would be like a modern approach to Notre Dame quarterback. And maybe that's exactly what they need, man. Forget the niceties, forget the plans for down the road. Like we need to, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. I don't think Minchie's transferring because it's like what is his stock right now? He's young and he's like been buried on the depth chart. Who would want it? I mean, maybe I guess Minchie could transfer to a group of 5 school, but that would be really waving the white flag, to say that he's not a Division I prospect. I don't think he would transfer. So I don't think Angeli is that secure. I was thinking initially that politically you would want Angeli to be good. And I think honestly they do want Angeli to be good. Because you want to insert him in there because to your earlier point, if you think either Minchie or Carr have some real potential, you want them physically like up to Division I starting quarterbacks, health and physicality, and you want them to battle out in 2025. But if Angeli's a liability, like if he's going to come in and lose a game for you because all he is a check down Charlie and guys are jumping routes against him, then you might as well go Young because then you want Carr or Minchie to get reps. You know what I mean? So I think that's big. I do want to talk about the defense. I think or did you want to put a bow on the quarterback?
Nope. Hey, I'm with you. D-Rock says here, Freeman and Denbrock won't have the patience or time to tiptoe around QB feelings from now on. Hey, if they're gonna be like that, I'm here for it, man. If I'm here for that, I'm open to that.
I agree. And then I think people underestimate how much coaches fall in love with their prized prospects. And I just think that Freeman has loved Carr for a long time. Like he just like Carr visited like 1,000 times, to Notre Dame. He's literally been on the team even before he was on the team.
You keep hearing that the staff loves him. Like you've heard behind the scenes, the staff really, really is high on him behind the scenes. Like that's the kind of things you hear about him that you're not hearing about Minchie, like off the field. I'm hearing they're all in on Carr.
I agree. So I just think things are not going in Angeli's direction. Maybe he can change that by having a good performance on Saturday. I think he really needs it. So I will say that on defense, I was really pleased to hear that this guy Troy Orey is getting some heat off the edge because like that was like my big thing is like if they have to go to a portal 2 years in a row to get defensive end, and then Botelho is still starting at the Viper position, right? Isn't that where he's at? It's like that's where all indications where he's the starter. I called in 2 weeks ago and we talked about how Botelho did absolutely nothing last year. I think the thing that he was most known for last year was a bizarre targeting where he hit. Do you remember he hit the guy in the hip with his helmet and he got kicked out of the game? It was like that was the only time I remember him
Andrew,
of any
it sounds
significance
like
last year.
he's lost some weight, kind of toned up a little bit. They're hoping maybe that'll help him. They reshaped his body a little bit. I understand he's a little lighter and more nimble out there. But yeah, Traore, I hear about him every time people talk about that defense, and that's a name that keeps coming up. And the reason that excites me is I already know the good guys we could rely on that are coming back. I need new guys to add to the mix, and this would be one. He's getting a lot of rave reviews.
Well, what's weird about Al Golden is, like, in year one of his defense, I think we would both agree that he substituted way too much. Like, remember how much substituting he was doing? It was ridiculous how much subbing he was doing. And then in year two, he really didn't substitute at all. I mean, certainly not at linebacker. Those guys played like the entire time. Those two in the middle, the D line was pretty much. So it'll be interesting to see, because they're trying to say he's going to substitute, but will he revert back to, hey, these are my starting guys, and not do it? Because you've got, and I bring this up because I feel like if what you're saying is true, John, that Freeman is recruiting a different type of athlete, well, if you're never going to put him in the game, then I don't want to hear that anymore. You know what I mean? Because if you look at their defense, the vast majority of the starters are these super seniors who, I mean, were they even recruited by Freeman? So it's just like, I need to start seeing these guys. So like, if Osbury's really like this super valuable dude, we need to see him on the field. Traore, it's like, if anybody's got a pulse coming off the end, we need to see that.
Don't you think?
Gave us nothing for the
I
last 2
agree
years.
with you. I agree with you, because you're in a position now where the oldest of the Notre Dame holdovers from Kelly are phasing out, and more of the Freeman alone recruiting operation guys are starting to get into the age where they need to contribute. You are right. This is the start of where you really need to see the Freeman guys start making a difference. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I'm starting to convince myself that our defense really has to do back-to-back top 10, potentially top 5 if Notre Dame's going to make a playoff run.
I think so too.
I'm worried.
I think so too.
Specifically about the offensive line.
Me too.
Like, if there's one thing about the offensive line is like I think people forget, like in 2021, we had Kyron Williams, and that guy was just such a beast. Like he struggled early on because our offensive line was just awful, but he like willed himself to have some big games. Like he was literally breaking 3 or 4 tackles and taking stuff to the house. Plus Audric Esime, I was never the hugest fan of Audric Esime, but I can appreciate that he was a really good player for Notre Dame. But one thing that he could do is he can move a pile. If it's like 3rd and 2, he could probably get you the first down, because he just by leaning forward, he can get 2 yards. The guys who we have now are much more dynamic players than Audric Esime. I think that these guys could probably go to the pros, especially if they get really strong and stuff like that. But I mean, is Price or Love a guy who's going to move a pile? And the reason I bring that up is, like, I'm really kind of concerned that about this offensive line opening up holes and protecting the quarterback. And so if that happens, like we're going 3 and out a lot, like it just puts so much pressure on your defense to pitch shutouts. And so I really hope we're not trending in that direction, but I don't know. What are your thoughts there? Because I'm just concerned. I'm really concerned. And that was actually, you asked, that's the basis of me and Driscoll and the other dude, because it's just like, they're like, I don't think that they're as concerned about the O-line. And I just think, like, did 2021 not happen? Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
well, but wait,
our O-line stunk in 2021.
On its face, forget anything happening in the middle. On its face, you're replacing both tackles. That's an alarm. I'm sorry. That's automatically. I don't even care if you like the guys they're replacing them with, for sure. That's a big question mark to me. It's not just one guy, it's both tackles. And then you add on what you're running into week 1, and they're going to be aggressive. I'm nervous about that. I mean, you could say I'm nervous about everything, but I'm nervous about it. I don't know.
Also, John, I mean, let's be honest too. The returning guys, the guards, I don't think that Notre Dame's guard play was all that great last year. I mean, was it? I mean, was anybody like saying Rocco Sindler was like destroying guys? Like, no. And then that arguably, when you hear from Notre Dame magazine people talk, they thought the best guard was, God, I forget his name, but he got beat out by Pat Coogan. So it's like
Who,
so it's just
Rocco?
like, I'm concerned. No, there was another guard. I forget the name of the guard who was originally starting last year, and then Pat Coogan took his job, and it just like makes you think, like, what is this guy Rudolph? Like, is he even a really good offensive line coach? So I worry about the O-line, because I think that, and then that was like the basis of me getting the argument with Driscoll and that other guy, because they're just like glossing over, basically saying that if it's okay if Notre Dame takes a step back on the offensive line because they've got like a great skill players. But I just make the argument that, hey, I need to see it to believe it from the wide receivers.
That makes me nervous.
Great houses to build.
That makes me nervous.
Yeah,
because if
I need to see it to believe it.
Listen, Denbrock can have all the plans in the world and all the creative ideas in the world. If you can't block it up somewhat decent, it doesn't really matter. And so I have a little anxiety there. I just, but why is it not fair to say it's a question mark till I can trust it?
Just real quick.
Question mark till I can trust it.
Yeah, and just real quick, Riley Leonard, if he's got any sort of residual ankle issues that he's going to try to play through, that sort of takes away what I thought would have been an important part of bringing in a Riley Leonard with a young offensive line. Because, like, he could, let's say A&M brings the house against him and he sees a little bit of a hole, he can run and get a first down. But if he's hobbled, you don't want Riley Leonard like thrown off his back foot, with a bum ankle, so it concerns me,
Yeah, man. It's, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. And I have a list. I got a list of things I want to see Saturday, and I'll go over them throughout the rest of this week. What I'm looking for, what I am looking for. And also I'm doing an episode called What I Don't Want to See at Blue and Gold. I'm doing one of the things I want to see, and I'm doing another one just going at the things I do not want to see Saturday. Yeah, go ahead.
One thing I do, or two things I want to see from the Notre Dame offense. The first thing is I want to see the FIU transfer. His name is Chris Martin, right?
Mitchell, I think. Mitchell, yeah.
Mitchell. Yeah, Chris Mitchell. I want to see if he can get off jam/press coverage, because he's kind of small. Like, everybody says that dude is really fast, but I think the strategy is, like, we're going to jam the crap out of him. If you're like he's coming from Group of 5 Conference USA, which is like the low Group of 5. Did he ever go up against the physical corners who could really jam him like a Texas A&M corner would do? So in Notre Dame. And then the second thing is, I know they supposedly don't show a ton in spring, but one thing that has to get utilized this year is using the running backs in the passing game.
Yep.
Like, if we're not opening up, it's like,
yep.
So, like, I want to see if Denbrock's dialing some stuff up for Love and for Price. And because if we can get those guys in the open field, I think that just takes so much pressure off that wide receiver core.
Yep. So. Dude, I was arguing that last year when the offense was so bogged down and we couldn't get anything done and no rhythm and everything. And everybody was struggling and it was like pulling teeth. I'm going, you got to get more creative to get the guys that could do things with the ball to let them like have a chance to break anything. I wanted to see that last year too. So Andrew, I don't know, but we'll cover it the rest of the week. We'll put out a couple videos and we'll all kind of lead into this, and then we'll see what we get. Anything on the way out? Thanks for touch base on a Monday, man.
No, I would just back you up on that. That, like, geez, you got Dalen McCullough. Like, where did he come from? He came from the Kansas City Chiefs under Andy Reid. Andy Reid might be the best play caller ever in terms of a play caller using the running back in the passing game. Like, remember, like, in the Eagles, like how often, like Nab and people would check down. So it's like, it makes you think that Dalen McCullough, did they even turn his headset on when the offense is happening? Because he might not have much influence in play calling, but you got two dudes who are maybe arguably, other than that Chris Mitchell guy, arguably the fastest guys on your offense. You better like use them in space. And there's no better way to do that than get them in the passing game. So,
yeah, yep. Man, it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And also a few people message me like, John, we've never been to one of your events before. Is it okay if we come? Hell yeah, it's okay. I want more people that I haven't met yet. That's the idea. That's how it grows. Everybody's welcome. It'll be home base. Come get a beer, get something to eat. Andrew, thank you very much, man. Good start to the week.
Well, man. Well, I can't go, but I'll definitely send a super chat. Hopefully, donate to your beer fund.
Oh, I
for
appreciate
Saturday.
it.
So
And then
enjoy yourself,
I
man.
appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you. And then a couple people have asked, what they need to bring, or do we need anything to bring? A lot of the people driving that are going to be parking right with us, one after the next, bring some of the heavy stuff, ice, coolers, beer, water, whatever. Anybody else, just bring other stuff you could carry, a bottle of liquor to throw on the table, a 6-pack of beer, a thing of cookies, some chips, just whatever. I don't want to make you guys do the work. I'm putting on a party, but a lot of people feel obligated to bring something. Bring a snack to throw on the table, whatever. Good morning, man. This was Johnny's going to buy Italian beef sandwiches as long as they're not dipped. Unbelievable how people will literally turn their bread into soggy mush and then eat it. Dip in that beef. Unbelievably disgusting. All right. Everybody, I really appreciate this. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the chats. I'm already over. I have a couple calls still I can't get to. I'm over. We'll be at it again Wednesday and then Friday as well. And so thank you for the chats. It's getting lively. People getting excited about blue and gold. Thank you everybody for participating. And we'll be with you soon. I'll have something out for you in the morning about blue and gold. Thanks for being here, everybody. Good show. Good start to the week.